Okay, guys, I freaking love the Babylon Bee. If you don't know what the Babylon Bee is, think of like the Onion, okay? So, except back when the Onion used to be funny. I used to follow the Onion quite a lot back, like, I don't know, over 10 years or so ago. At that time, they used to make fun of both the right wing and the left wing, and it was pretty balanced. Their videos on YouTube were absolutely hilarious. And then things changed. Like the actors on the typical shows, like they had this one. It was a like a spoof on like a morning show. It was so ingenious. And then everything just changed all of a sudden. It's like they got rid of all of their actors. They got all brand new actors. And the website, the news articles just were not the same. So, Babylon Bee is a similar parody news site, but it's run by Christians, so the humor is a lot cleaner. You know, you're not going to see any four-letter words or anything like that. Of course, there's a lot of Christian humor mixed in, but even if you're not religious, you can still probably enjoy the heck out of this. So, all right, let's look at a few articles here. Okay, let's just get started. Church installs transporter to teleport worship band onto stage during closing prayer. All right, that's cute. All right, haha. Next article. This is for Thanksgiving, right? Nation's progressives give thanks that they have so much to be angry about this year. In honor of Thanksgiving week, the nation's progressives have begun to give thanks that they have so much to be angry and offended about this year. Thank you, unspecified deity who may or may not exist, for giving us so much stuff to be outraged about, said Stacy Walder, 42 of Portland. Good old Portland. As she prepared her vegan kale-wrapped turkey. Vegan turkey. I'm truly humbled that you've blessed me with the Trump presidency, the patriarchy, the laws of economics, and biological facts to rage against. Every year, it's important to pause and recognize how much we have to be angry about. A lot of people struggle with gratitude, but I'm deeply thankful that the universe has given us a veritable cornucopia of things to be mad about, agreed Mary Wallace, 27 of New York. I know that I come from a place of privilege. And when I think about those poor people who have absolutely nothing to be mad about, I utter a prayer of thanks to Goddess. Many progressives partake in an annual tradition of writing down all the things that they're thankful to be mad about. Here's a list. White people, pronouns, personal responsibility, satire that does not affirm their viewpoint. Billionaires, old tweets, 32-ounce sodas, plastic straws, people who hold a steady job, appropriating other cultures, excluding other cultures, Bush, Obama, Trump, babies, Kanye West, and America. If we'd all just remember to count our outrages, we'd have a much worse attitude all the time, Wallace said as she looked over her own list of offensive things that dared to exist. We should live our lives as though it's outrage Thanksgiving every day. And by the way, Babylon Bee has come under fire so many times by Snopes especially, and so much more of the corporate media, because they keep taking it seriously. They keep like trying to debunk it. It's like, dude, it's a parody website, you stupid assholes. How could you not understand this? After CNN anchor Don Lemon made controversial comments calling white men the biggest terror threat in this country. Remember that? Yeah. The host somberly apologized on his program, stating he never intended to offend all the evil white men who watch his program. Backlash against Lemon's remarks was swift, and he appeared So he appeared the following evening to express his regret over his inflammatory rhetoric that may have hurt all of the evil white people in America. My remarks were insensitive to white men, the scourge of this nation, and for that I am extremely sorry, he said. It was never my intention to cause offense to the disgusting, wretched, mouth-breathing people who make up the white American males in this country. Lemon further acknowledged that he may have mischaracterized white people when he called them terrorists. I said they were terrorists, and that's inaccessible. They're actually demon-possessed monsters bent on destroying all of humanity. I regret the error. Shortly after his apology, Lemon kicked off another impassioned speech blaming white men for causing racial division in this country. It's all the fault of the people with the wrong colored skin, he said. MTV apologizes for briefly airing something other than mindless trash. Remember when MTV used to show like music videos? That was like when I was in high school. Actually, in high school, the best way to watch music videos was to watch Beavis and Butthead. I know, like when I was in high school, they had a show called 120 Minutes, which was like really awesome. They would play the type of music that I liked, but that was like Sunday, like midnight or something like that. A spokesperson for MTV has finally apologized after the cable channel aired Chris Pratt's brief acceptance speech at the MTV Movie and TV Awards earlier this week, stating that the content of his address was not totally vapid, mindless trash, and as such wasn't in line with the network's usual programming standards of core values. Alright, here we go. Scholars now believe Saul threw a spear at David for playing Christmas music well before Thanksgiving. That's pretty great. If you play Little Drummer Boy one more time, I'm going to pin you to the wall, King Saul reportedly growled. I double dog dare you. Okay. Oh, this is great. I like this one. Alright. I like them all. That's why I'm sharing these. These are the ones I liked best. Alright, so George Lucas releases special edition of the Bible where Malchus attacks Peter first. Now, Malchus was the Roman soldier that Peter injured his ear with a knife, right? George Lucas is renowned for his ability to re-release better, much improved editions of classic films. Everyone loves it when he changes beloved scenes and characters and adds CGI characters to perfectly good scenes. So by popular demand, Lucas is applying his formidable skills to the Bible with a special edition of Scripture. Among many changes will be a scene where Malchus attacks Peter first, justifying Peter's hacking off the man's ear. I wanted to make Peter more of a morally good character and not so conflicted, Lucas said in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. Some hardcore Bible nerds were offended by the changes, launching a viral Peter Swung First campaign. This is not my Bible, said Bible geek Jim Caliper, creator of the Not My Bible hashtag. There's no reason for Lucas to go meddling with that scene when it was perfect in the originals. Fans have begun petitioning Lucas to reverse the changes, but the filmmaker has purchased all Bible translations and vows never to release the embarrassing original cut again. Holy Bible, the special edition, will be released in time for Easter, followed by tens of thousands of lucrative Bible tie-in merchandise. George Lucas, I swear. People are forgetting, with how crappy that the Disney trilogies are and all that, all these Disney Star Wars movies. People forget how stupid George Lucas was, and really, they weren't better off with him at all. Okay, New York Times reports that 18 billion people will die from a Republican tax plan. It's a good fake news to make fun of fake news. New projections worked up by the New York Times in conjunction with liberal think tank Progress at All Costs suggest that the new Republican tax plan will kill up to 18 billion people out of the 7.4 billion people currently living on the planet. The Times published its finding on Monday, sounding the alarm that the adjusted tax plan will mean certain death for everybody on the planet and then some. This is the end of humanity. Oh my gosh. Good old Doomsday. Alright, so this one's funny, of course. Chick-Fil-A trades adoring Christian fans for outraged mob that won't be appeased until their every demand is met. Chick-fil-A has said it will stop making donations to Christian groups that oppose the LGBTQP movement. The move is said to be a good trade, as Chick-fil-A has sacrificed its Christian fans in favor of an outrage mob that will stop at nothing to destroy them. Now this is true, actually. Chick-fil-A, they used to have like people who would really go out of their way to buy their stupid sandwiches because, you know, they stood up for like, you know, moral decency and all that. And then all the sexual degenerates got all pissed off at them, and so now they've totally caved into their demands. Restaurant spokespeople say they believe this move will be enough to appease the LGBTQ community, and aren't worried about further demands from the mob until Chick-fil-A is groveling at the outraged leftists' feet. In no way will this backfire on us, said the Chick-fil-A CEO Dan Cathy. Surely the left will be entirely appeased by this move. They will definitely forgive us right away and welcome us as one of them. In no way will they hold our past activities against us. This is much better than our previous Christian audience, who are always adoring us and never protesting us. Sometimes you just want to be loved by a group that protests you for years and calls you a bigot, he added, shrugging. Warren. Bernie once told me in private that The Princess Bride is a garbage movie and those who enjoy it are human trash. This is a commentary on all the stupid petty infighting with the Democrat ticket here. Cambridge, Massachusetts. Senator Elizabeth Warren on Monday said that Senator Bernie Sanders told her that The Princess Bride is a garbage movie and those who enjoy it are human trash, a statement Sanders' campaign has blasted as a lie earlier in the day. Bernie and I met for a few hours in May 2018 to discuss the 2020 election, Warren said in a statement. Among the topics that came up was The Princess Bride. I thought it was a fabulous movie. He disagreed. Warren claims Bernie also told her that he hates puppies, beer, Dolly Parton, and that on the day he became president, he would outlaw French fries. He told me, people who eat French fries are vermin, she told reporters. Literal vermin. It is ludicrous to believe that at the same meeting where Elizabeth Warren told me she was going to run for president, I would tell her that stuff about the princess movie and French fries and these things, he said. In her statement, Warren said, I have no interest in discussing his private meeting any further because Bernie and I agree more than we disagree. We have been friends and allies in this fight for a long time, and I have no doubt we will continue to work together to defeat Donald Trump and put our government on the side of people. She then added, also, he told me he hates babies. Here we go. This is when Trump moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. Man frequently compared to Hitler recognizes Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Jerusalem. A man whose detractors frequently compare him to Nazis and even Adolf Hitler fulfilled a promise Monday by moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem and officially recognizing the historic city as a capital of Israel. Or as the capital of Israel. The man, none other than President Trump, made the move, long requested by Jews living in Israel, in show of good faith, all while being called a fascist Nazi dictator by various media outlets. This man is even worse than the Nazis, a commentator on CNN said during a live report on the opening of the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem. President Trump is literally, and I say this without any exaggeration or embellishment, he is literally Adolf Hitler incarnated. At publishing time, multiple sources have confirmed that the man who has been called Hitler more often than any other public figure in recent history has a daughter who married a Jew and converted to Judaism. Of course. But literally Hitler, lol. Disney capitalizes on success of Baby Yoda with Baby Jar Jar. Fans of The Mandalorian rejoice. Disney is responding to fan enthusiasm over the Baby Yoda character with more baby characters. The first of these, dubbed Baby Jar Jar, will be introduced in next week's episode. We've heard the fans loud and clear. They want more baby characters, and we're starting with the most beloved of all, Baby Jar Jar, said Jon Favreau. This adorable little infant Gungan will win your heart with his cute slapstick antics. His speech patterns are exactly like regular Jar Jar, but in a baby voice. What could be better than that? Nothing, that's what. The baby is rumored to be a clone of Jar Jar Binks, or perhaps one of his descendants. Whatever he turns out to be, Disney is very confident this little guy will be a huge hit among fans. Misa have to poopy? Baby Jar Jar says as Mandalorian bounty hunter Din Djarin discovers him at a remote outpost. Excuse me, need new diaper, big doo-doo, icky poo, piusa. Jaren tries to put the baby back and slowly back away, but it's too late as the little Gungan has imprinted on him. Oh crap, guess we're keeping this little thing, he grunts, begrudgingly rescuing Baby Jar Jar. This isn't gonna be very messy. Baby Yoda also tries to force choke Baby Jar Jar. But through a comedy of errors, the little guy always seems to slip away. How adorable. It's great to see that Disney is listening to the fans. Well, Mandalorian might be listening to fans, but so far, I just hope they don't try to use it to make an excuse for that stupid Rise of Skywalker movie. And speaking of which, this is before that movie came out. Rise of Skywalker to introduce first lesbian AT-AT. Yeah, okay, I'm over the age of 40. I call it the AT-AT, not the AT-AT. Okay, so shut up. Hollywood, California. During a recent interview with Out and Proud magazine, Rise of Skywalker director J.J. Abrams hinted that the hotly anticipated 9th installment of the... not too hotly anticipated... the Star Wars saga would include more clear LGBTQP representation in the form of a lesbian AT-AT. Star Wars has always been about representing diversity, Abrams said. Whether it was giving all the white characters medals at the end of New Hope, or the hilarious, accurate Jewish and Caribbean stereotypes in The Phantom Menace, it's important that everyone has a character they can relate to. Abrams went on to say that he is thrilled that Rise of Skywalker will continue this trend of inclusivity by giving audiences a lesbian armored vehicle which they can identify. We're going to get to see all this, the all-terrain armored transport, explore her sexual identity, and follow the struggle she goes through, being the only gay Imperial walker in the known galaxy. Abrams further explained that the AT-AT's character would be illuminated through conversations with Rey, who speaks in fluent Imperial Walker, because of course she does. We believe that introducing a progressive agenda to the Star Wars films is a great way to subvert expectations, Abrams concluded, and that's always a good thing. At publishing time, the film's production crew was hastily adding an AT-AT walker for every sexual orientation into the film in post. And just because J.J. Abrams is such a dingus, here's another one. J.J. Abrams reveals Rey died years ago. J.J. Abrams revealed the whole sequel trilogy was just a dream Rey had while on some kind of island in Purgatory. According to Abrams, his big epic conclusion to the Star Wars trilogy will involve revealing that the entire thing was a dream that happened on some kind of island in Purgatory or something. Honestly, it kind of explains everything. The random out-of-place plot twists, Rey having superpowers, the strange casino subplot that had nothing to do with anything, wrote one commenter. The island ending makes a lot of sense. I'm excited to see where Disney takes this now. Abrams says Rey is actually just a normal kind of girl. She definitely isn't more powerful than Luke Skywalker or as anything, as was suggested. She's a normal person with flaws and everything, of course. It'd be ridiculous if that was all real. Fans were pretty pleased with the announcement since it means all expanded universe material is now canon again. And this weird sequel trilogy was all a dream. Disney has announced new films and shows based on Thrawn, Mara Jade, Dark Force Rising, and the X-Wing series of books, much to fans' excitement. Oh gosh, yes. If they had only gotten Michael Stackpole and Timothy Zahn to write these new movies, oh my gosh, that would have been so much better than what we got. I take back everything I said about The Force Awakens because that movie was total trash. Okay, so capitalizing on all the stupid Spygate crap. Russian spy captured, found to have several smaller Russian spies nested inside. New York Police Department detectives assisted the FBI in capturing yet another Russian spy Friday morning, having tracked his movements through the city for several weeks. Finally seizing their opportunity, the law enforcement officers apprehended him in front of the apartment he's been occupying on U.S. soil for the past 6 months. Law enforcement pulled up in a vehicle, sirens blaring. The spy took off running, but police were ready. A cop stepped out of an alley and clotheslined the Russian operative, knocking him to the ground. The officer picked him up off the ground to restrain him. As the spy attempted to run yet again, his top half popped off, revealing a second spy within. "Aha!" cried the cop. "We've got you now." But as another policeman dove to restrain the second spy, his top half also popped off, and a third Russian spy was shown to be nested inside that one. Just how deep does this conspiracy go? The FBI agent Derek Albego said as other operatives worked to see just how many nested Russian spies were inside the original spy. We'll get to the bottom of this. Please continue to frisk the increasingly small Russian spies, each time discovering the agent was actually just a shell for a tinier one inside it. At publishing time, the final nested Russian spy was found to contain a miniature robotic Vladimir Putin. Putin! Putin's out to get me! Lego introduces new sharper bricks that instantly kill you when you step on them. Bill in Denmark. Lego has just introduced a new and improved interlocking plastic bricks that will instantly kill you when you step on them, sources at the company's headquarters confirmed Thursday. The sharper edges in the new design will just immediately put you out of your misery, so you don't have to roll on the ground in excruciating pain for minutes on end. Utilizing advanced laser-driven techniques, Lego factories can now hone the edges of the famously sharp and painful bricks to such a fine point that the human nervous system instantly shuts down upon coming into contact with them. It says in the article here, "This is the most promising advancement we've made in our brick design since we first introduced the bricks that make it feel like your foot is being stabbed by 100 sharpened katanas many decades ago." Okay, so for hobbyists like myself, this might not totally pertain, but it's still a funny article. Nevertheless, husband daycare now available at all Hobby Lobby locations. In a move to help oppressed husbands who are forced to walk around the craft store in a daze for hours as they lose all sense of time and space, Hobby Lobby has unveiled its new husband daycares at all of its U.S. stores. At the beginning of a woman's shopping trip to Hobby Lobby, she can check her husband into the daycare for up to 3 hours as long as he's trained to put the toilet seat back down. She also has to sign a waiver that she's responsible for any spills or messes he makes, though most of the women are already used to that anyway. The patented Hobby Lobby husband daycare is fully stocked with beer, pizza, video games, televisions, and even an old car to work on with a provided set of tools, though most men seem to stand around there nodding and saying yep, even though they don't know what's wrong with the car. 2 or 3 hours their wives spend browsing wooden and metal decor will fly by as they knock out a game of Madden or watch a baseball game. Upon the opening of the daycares, Hobby Lobby's sales increased fourfold as husbands began begging their wives to spend as much time as they wanted in the craft store. At publishing time, Hobby Lobby has announced that you can leave your husband in the daycare Saturday night, let him hang out there all day on Sunday, and come back to pick him up Monday morning, further increased demand for the future. So it's funny because, you know, people who are into models, you know, you go there and you use their 40% off coupon, but of course, you're never allowed to use that coupon on their Iwata airbrushes, of course. But, you know, whatever. This is great. Trump is being influenced by the Russians, screams communist. Portland, Oregon, of course. According to sources at a recent protest in Portland, a self-identified communist screamed, "Trump is being influenced by the Russians," while wearing his favorite hammer and sickle hat. The man believes Russia is taking over the highest levels of our government, a claim for which he has no evidence. He also believes Soviet-style communism is the best path to prosperity, another claim for which he has no evidence. This guy probably wants to vote for Bernie Sanders. "It's really scary to see how much influence Russia has on our country," said the man who wants our country to be exactly like Russia during the Cold War. "We need to stay true to what makes America America and not let the ideas, philosophies, and governmental policies of other countries influence our elections." The man tweeted over 129 times under the Moscow Mitch and Leningrad Lindsay hashtags to express his disapproval of how much Russia is supposedly influencing our politics. Apropos of nothing, he also wants our country to run exactly how Moscow ran the USSR for decades, and has praised the ideas of Lenin, though he prefers Stalin for his passion. "It would be really terrible for this country to become just like Russia," he told reporters, though that's exactly what he wants. That is so frickin' true. This is why they hate the Babylon Bee. It's satire, but it's so frickin' true at the same time. And of course, other times it's completely ridiculous. Like, for example, this article here. "Hyperinflation continues to devastate the economy of Mushroom Kingdom." If you think about it, all the coins and such. "Back in the 80s, when coins were still backed by the gold standard, Mario could gather 20 to 30 coins in a solid level run," said Mushroom Kingdom economist Toad. "Now he can't jump over a piranha plant without nabbing 100 smackaroos." Great. Love it. The power of social media comes true in this lovely article here. Trump reluctantly resigns after spotting trending hashtag "Trump resign now." Washington, D.C. A downcast, dejected Trump agreed to resign Monday morning after he saw the hashtag Trump resign now trending on Twitter and other social networks. "Well, looks like I have no choice," he said, a tear rolling down his smooth, sherbet-colored cheek. "Man, this is disappointing. I thought I was doing a great job. The best job, actually. Many great people have told me, but I guess this is the end of the line for old Donnie." Opponents of Trump said they wish they would have thought of getting a hashtag trending sooner. "If we had known all we had to do was tweet about it, we would have done that a lot earlier," said one resistance activist and professional gerbil walker in New Hampshire. "To think we've been screaming ourselves hoarse, organizing protests, and changing our profile pictures for nothing. All we had to do was get a hashtag going, and we got our way. This is how life should be." Trump packed his stuff into a small box office and said goodbye to his coworkers before going on the walk of shame across the White House lawn, exiting through the guard gate. When asked what he plans on doing next, Trump said he would think about going into real estate or maybe higher education. Man in critical condition after hearing slightly differing viewpoint. Trigger warning, right? Glendale, California. A man was rushed to the hospital yesterday after encountering a slightly different viewpoint than his own. Shortly before 12:30 p.m., Glendale PD officers responded to a 911 call at the Java Lounge Coffee House in the 900 block of North Emerson Road. They found a person who had collapsed in shock and went to the station for help. Witnesses say the man was having a casual conversation about politics with another patron when the minutely opposing viewpoint was expressed. They were both Democrats, Bernie supporters, said Janice Hewson, a barista at the Java Lounge. Then the guy he was talking to said he had some issues with abortion and thinks that there should at least be a few limitations put on the practice. That's when the man seized up and began foaming at the mouth. It was terrible. 4 other bystanders were also emotionally injured by the moderately divergent opinion, but were not hospitalized. The man is being kept stable on ideology support at St. Francis Medical Center, surrounded by friends and family who agree with him 100% on every single issue. The man who suggested the slightly different opinion fled the scene. Anyone with information is asked to alert the authorities. Progressives try new strategy to win the hearts of Americans, interrupting college football. This happened back in November of 2019. Progressives are trying a new strategy to win over American hearts and minds after it was found that their outraged antics often turn people off. Interrupting college football games. We have tried blocking traffic, chanting during baseball games, and screaming at people in restaurants, but people still don't love us for some reason, said one climate protester while she was being put into a squad car. So now, by interrupting something most Americans don't even like and probably no one even cares about, college football, we'll get lots of praise and positive attention from your average Joe. This is a surefire way to win the rural red state voters over to our cause. Since the strategy proved somewhat successful during the Harvard-Yale game, the protesters say they're going to try it on a real college football game instead. England gets new king or something. This is after the Boris gets elected, right? It's like, yeah, whatever, right? Camelot? Question mark. England. Reports from England, which is an adorable little island nation in Europe somewhere, indicated Wednesday that they have picked a new king to be knighted or crowned or whatever it is that they do to kings. Presumably he won the throne by pulling a sword from a stone or having a woman in a pond throw it at him. We're not sure if they still do duels for the throne, but hopefully they do, because that'd be pretty awesome. So it's entirely possible he had to partake in a sword fight or croquet match to the death to win his new position as England's king. After the new king guy was picked, the nation probably celebrated by playing cricket or something like that. Dems promise to do a better job of hiding their support for infanticide in the future. After President Trump once again called attention to Democrats' support for the violent execution of both unborn and newborn babies, Democrats apologized and promised to do a better job of hiding their support for infanticide in the future. Democrats phoned up various mainstream media outlets and made sure that they called Trump's comments untruthful to provide some cover for their pro-infanticide position while they regrouped. Several leaders on the left realized that they needed to be more circumspect about their public support for killing born babies for the foreseeable future. Airports. Oh, God. Airport revenues soar after allowing travelers to pay to turn off CNN. Airports are... Because, you know, airports, all they do is show CNN. It's insane, right? And everybody hates CNN, so why do they do that? They get paid for showing it, I guess. Airports around the world are reporting record revenues after introducing a long-awaited feature, the ability to turn off CNN on television sets in their terminals. For just one quarter, You can turn off CNN for a full 15 minutes while you're waiting for your flight, leaving you with the far superior experience of just staring at a blank screen. At long last, said one man waiting for his flight at LaGuardia as he dropped a few dollars worth of quarters into the turn-off CNN slot. Honestly, I might fly more now. He's not alone. Airports expect a 426% uptick in traveling over the holidays as flyers no longer have to worry about having the droning words of CNN hosts pounding into their heads for hours on a layover. Fringe conspiracy theorist believes Epstein just killed himself. Fringe conspiracy theorist Alec Peters has pushed a lot of crazy theories, including false flag shootings, NASA weather control, and the idea that everyone in Washington, D.C. is a lizard person under the control of an advanced alien race, though he's actually provided some interesting evidence for that last claim. But Peters has finally left the reservation with this latest claim, that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in prison. Peters recently published his latest YouTube video titled, "What the Deep State Doesn't Want You to Know." Epstein actually did just commit suicide. I know most of you out there are going to call me a crazy conspiracy theorist, but here goes. Epstein committed suicide, he said on his video. The mainstream thinking here is that he didn't do it and that someone else had him killed, but that's what all the normies out there want you to believe. A lot of Peters' followers quickly unsubscribed, calling him a crackpot. I could track him through his flat earth phase, but this is too far, wrote one commenter, unsubscribing. His video was immediately demonetized and scrubbed from the internet, presumably by the deep state operatives who want to cover up the truth. Okay, this is so awesome. Now, VeggieTales, I've never seen this. It's one of those CG animated TV shows from the 90s. I guess it was a Christian show. Bob the Tomato praised for being a fruit who identifies as a vegetable. Kitchen sink. The LGBTQP community has praised Bob the Tomato as being stunning and brave after it was revealed that he is actually a fruit who identifies as a vegetable. VeggieTales was ahead of its time, said non-binary person Petch Bonsai, LGBTQP activist and verified Twitter user with just over 500 followers. Most kids shows just try to be entertaining and rely on outdated binary depiction of gender. But the VeggieTales writers were pioneers, willing to show a tomato publicly identifying as a vegetable despite clearly being a fruit. Other characters on the show have also been praised for being fruits, but presenting themselves as vegetables, including the peach, the bad apple, Madame Blueberry, and the entire grape family. A whole family of fruits going against traditional vegetable norms. How progressive is that, said Bonsai. Rumors from the VeggieTales set even suggest that Larry the Cucumber may be a fruit, but he has not come out of the cabinet yet. Instead of closet, they said cabinet. That's great. Oh my gosh. This is so awesome. Good old Greta. Marionette strings clearly visible during Greta Thunberg testimony. Climate activist and adolescent Greta Thunberg gave a passionate speech at the UN Climate Action Summit in New York declaring, "How dare you! You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering, people are dying, entire ecosystems are collapsing. This is all wrong," she declared, clearly on the verge of tears. Savvy viewers, however, noticed that there were marionette strings attached to the 16-year-old throughout her speech. "Hey, wait a minute," one attendee shouted. "Those are puppet strings, kind of like on Thunderbirds." This caused some uproar, with everyone tracing the strings to see who had brainwashed this young girl into thinking the world was ending and pulling her strings. George Soros, perhaps. Some people got bored with the speech after that and just went and watched Thunderbirds, which had more interesting puppets and better acting. Security found the other end of the marionette strings hastily abandoned by whoever had been controlling her, then a man fitting the description of Al Gore diving off the fire escape into a private jet. Of course, because, carbon, he has to fly around on his own private jet because he's a hypocrite. Thunberg slumped down in her chair and shortly woke up out of her daze, angered and disappointed to find she had been exploited like this. Cute thing kid supposedly said just so happens to line up exactly with parents' political views. Look at this. This fake Twitter, right? My 9-year-old came up to me today and said, "Mom, why are Republicans Nazis who want to kill everybody with fully automatic assault rifles?" This is so true because, like, I wasn't even really into politics, right? And then I came across this video. It was these kids, these parents or whatever. They had all their children saying, "Fuck Donald Trump. He should shut the fuck up." And I saw that video. I'm like, what the heck? People think it's cute to have these kids swearing like this? I didn't even know Trump was running for president, but I'm like, man, I'm going to vote for him. I thought he was a jerk before, but, I'm going to look into this guy. So, yeah, that totally backfired on them, I guess. Liberals clarify they only want black voices to be heard when they're saying liberal things. Again, this is so true. This is after the whole Dave Chappelle thing. After some confusion was expressed by casual observers of apparent hypocrisy in their denunciation of Dave Chappelle's most recent comedy special, liberals from around the country clarified that they only want black voices to be heard when those voices are saying liberal-approved things. So true. The offended white progressives asked black comedian Dave Chappelle to keep it down and maybe not talk so much after his comments made them feel uncomfortable, sources confirmed Thursday. "Yeah, we're glad you're a minority, and we're happy that your black voice is being heard," said Zinder Mollison, 32, Portland, him, in an open letter to Chappelle. "But you're not saying the right things." Mollison then offered to send Chappelle a list of the things that are okay for black people to say, such as that white people are evil, that everyone should be canceled for literally anything they tweeted a decade ago, and that Donald Trump is Hitler. "When black people agree with me, I want very much their voices to be heard," said Helga Bannerman, 28, Portland. She, they, her, zen. Or is that Jen? I don't know. "When they don't agree with me, they're pretty much not black anymore. They're basically an evil white person like me at that point. And the last thing we need on this planet is more white people like Dave Chappelle." And speaking of cancel culture, Ash Ketchum stripped of Pokemon League title after old MAGA hat photo surfaces. Study. Majority of Americans now say it's okay to punch a grammar Nazi. Is it okay to punch a grammar Nazi? This question has been floated around the internet after footage of an attack on a well-known self-professed grammatical purist, Shanton P. Middlesmith, went viral on Friday. According to a new study, the answer among Americans is an overwhelming absolutely. Middlesmith, who identifies as an alt-writer, that's W-R-I-T-E-R, and describes himself as a grammaritarian, was punched in the head by a person clad in black as he was being interviewed by a journalist from Proofreader Monthly. At the time of the attack, Middlesmith was explaining some of his controversial beliefs, such as far-right justified indentations, a distaste for Times New Roman black, nominative case baiting, the annihilation of 99% of all ellipsis use, intransitive verbophobia, anti-semicolon, and dedicated to the spreading of the Oxford comma. Video of the attack shows Mr. Middlesmith's glasses reeling to one side under the force of the blow, and his attacker darting through a crowd after landing the punch. Mr. Middlesmith later reported he was spat on, kicked in the pants, and epithets hurled at him such as communist, neo-sentence capitalist, semicolonist, apostrophobic, and question Marxist. Video of the attack inspired a flood of jokes and memes online, some of which set the punch to songs like Word Crimes by Weird Al. Antifa. Antifa unveils new pumpkin spice Molotov cocktails for fall protests. Portland, Oregon, of course. Antifa has unveiled a new pumpkin spice Molotov cocktail for the fall protest season, developed in conjunction with Molotov Cocktails Incorporated, the preferred provider of makeshift explosives for the leftist protesters. The throwaway incendiary weapons are made with real, organic, locally harvested pumpkin spice. They taste and smell like pumpkin spice, which is important for the angry white people who make up Antifa. Now when your political opponents are burning in agony, you can enjoy that pumpkin spice smell you love so much, said Ned Patterson, CEO of Molotov Cocktails, Inc. Nothing says fall like a good old-fashioned violent protest coupled with the scent of pumpkin spice. Is that burning flesh you smell, or is that pumpkin spice? It's hard to say, he added before chuckling checking one at a conservative journalist standing by. Oh, I love autumn. Popular white person boot company UGG is also supporting Antifa with a pair of steel-toed protest boots for the white girls who join up with Antifa in a brave stance against racism. The company has also hinted at white peppermint mocha flavor to debut this winter. I love this. Good old Democrat debates. Warning, gang of known criminals holding meetings to discuss how much of your money to steal. That's so true. Authorities are warning that a gang of known criminals is currently holding a meeting to debate various plots to steal your money. The criminals are debating exactly how much of your money to steal. Some are suggesting stealing all of your money, while others would just like to steal most of your money. Whatever the case, they all agree on two things. A, you have money, and B, it must be stolen. I know, shouted one of the criminals, an older man with frizzy hair, known throughout the criminal underworld as a seasoned veteran when it comes to stealing people's money. We could lower ourselves in through people's roofs and grab stuff like in that new movie the kids are talking about, Impossible Mission. That movie is called Die Tough, you dummy, snapped one female gangster with the chiseled features of a Native American. I think we should lie in wait in the bushes outside of the mouth of a canyon in the American Southwest. Then when the unsuspecting white man comes riding through on his horse or Tesla, we tomahawk him. She made a tomahawk gesture with her hand, only for another elderly man on the other side of her to grab her hand and began sniffing it. Stealing money is an American pastime, he said, as the frightened woman pulled her hand away. Back in the 20s, Hotbox Nixon and Tommy Gun Joe and I used to go driving around taking down no good ne'er-do-wells with our Tommy guns. Pow, bang, rat-a-tat. This is a reference to the whole corn pop thing. What were we talking about again? These goofy criminals may seem like characters out of family-friendly screwball comedy, but authorities have warned that their plans to steal your money are very, very real. That's so true. Trump blamed for causing violence in typically peaceful Middle East. After Trump moved some troops from northern Syria, he was immediately blamed for causing violence in the typically peaceful Middle East. Syria, which is known around the world as an idyllic paradise until January 20th, 2017 at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is now in shambles thanks to some minor troop reassignments. Trump tried to restabilize the Middle East by announcing a deployment of 2,000 U.S. troops to defend the famed bastion of democracy and freedom of Saudi Arabia, but it was too late. The damage has been done. It's sad that the usually serene resort destination of Syria has been transformed into a war-torn hellscape under Trump, said Hillary Clinton. Under my watch, the Middle East was basically a big golf resort. Barack Obama and George W. Bush joined in their condemnation of what Trump has done to the Middle East. It's like they say in Texas, said Bush. Attack Iraq once, shame on me. Attack it twice? Well, then you won't get attacked again. Trump has betrayed our allies, the Kurds, said one man in Arizona who had just Googled who are the Kurds a few minutes before. Look at all the violence he's caused in the usually utopian paradise of Syria. The nation has called on Trump to allow U.S. soldiers to stick around for a few centuries in order to bring our various conflicts to a satisfactory conclusion. At publishing time, the Pentagon has issued a reminder to the nation that we've always been at war with Turkey. Now this is making fun of the stupid that meeting that they had with the Democrat socialists with their stupid jazz hands and stuff. Progressive church allows anyone to interrupt sermon with a point of personal privilege. I love this. CNN reporter informs Iranian protesters they're supposed to be shouting death to America. As Iranians protested their government's downing of a passenger jet, a frantic CNN reporter ran through the crowd lecturing them on how they were actually supposed to be shouting death to America. The CNN reporter arrived at the protest excited to cover another anti-US protest, but quickly realized that they were actually shouting death to the dictator and blaming their government for shooting down the plane. "Guys, you're ruining the narrative," he cried through the megaphone. "We can't run with this. You're willing to assign blame to Iran more readily than the media and the Democrats were. This isn't good for our viewership. Are you guys in league with Fox News? Please, guys, please shout death to America just for a few minutes so I can get some B-roll." All other states begged California to add them to the travel ban. After California added Iowa to its growing list of states to which the government will not fund trips, all of the other states began clamoring to get added to the ban list. Wait, there's a way to get California politicians banned from traveling here? Where do we sign up? Said one state legislator in Georgia. Is there a waiting list? Wait. All we have to do is refuse to fund gender transition surgeries? That's amazing. Look at this. Parents allow 6-year-old son to begin transitioning into a teenage mutant ninja turtle per his wishes. I love this. Portland, Oregon. Of course it's Portland. It's always Portland. It began like any other day for the LaRoe family. Greg and Cindy were getting ready for work. He a CSR for a paperclip manufacturer. She a street henna tattoo artist. When their boy Hayden came downstairs to eat his morning breakfast of Kashi's new redwood-flavored cereal made with bits of real redwood trees. As he munched on the twigs and leaves, he said the phrase that would change their lives forever. "Man, I wish I were Raphael." Greg abruptly stopped brushing his neck hair. Cindy almost dropped her kombucha. "Oh, baby," his mom said, pulling up a chair next to him in the breakfast nook in their quaint Portland home. "Do you really mean it? We can begin transition surgeries right away. I'll call the Morrises. I heard they used an excellent surgeon when their son decided he wanted to be a transformer." "Yeah, I want to be a Ninja Turtle," he said. Pow, bam, bang. He then started kicking his mother and stabbing her in the face with his plastic sai, confirming their suspicion that little Hayden was actually a Ninja Turtle trapped in a boy's body. Over the next 3 months, the boy underwent 7 surgeries and strange glowing sewer ooze to help him begin his biological transition into a Ninja Turtle who punches things. It's important for parents to listen to their kids' every desire and immediately affirm that desire, Greg told reporters at a press conference held on their lawn. If your kid says he's a fire truck, rip off his legs and install some industrial tires for goodness sake. Imagine how much harm you would do your kids if you impressed your beliefs on them instead of listening to their subjective opinion of reality, he added. Pennywise, now frightening children with presentation on climate change. This is so true, I swear. It's just these stupid climate alarmists and how they terrorize kids that they're not going to live. Dairy Maine. Dairy, of course. Pennywise, an ancient cosmic horror in the form of a clown who feeds on the fear of children, has reportedly adopted another strategy to frighten children. Now when he ambushes children when they're alone, he immediately launches into a lengthy presentation on climate change. "You're gonna die, Georgie," Pennywise reportedly said to a recent victim. "Just look at this hockey stick graph. Nothing is going to stop the warming. You're doomed." Now many of the children he has approached are nearing catatonic with fear, worried that either the clown will eat them or that the clown won't eat them and they'll have a worse death when the polar ice caps melt. "I don't know what to tell them," said climate change activist Horace Malone, "but the evil clown has a point. You're all gonna die, children. All of you." 7 adult misfits have vowed to stop Pennywise, though. Decades ago, the clown had gone after them as children. Through the presentation, he frightened them. Back then was on acid rain and a hole in the ozone layer. Bernie Sanders unveils new tax. Bernie Sanders unveils new plan to levy special tax on anyone who makes more money than Bernie Sanders. "We want people to be able to chase the American dream, but not too much," Sanders said. "A good amount, like 3 houses, great. 4 houses, evil. Millions? That's all right with me. Billions? Die, capitalist scum." The important thing is that those who work hard and invest their capital are rewarded right up until they pass me by, Sanders said. "I get so mad when I see someone with 4 houses. Who needs that many houses?" Media disappointed to learn armed citizens stopped mass shooting. "We grieve that this tragedy we could have exploited for weeks on end was stopped by a good guy with a gun. Our thoughts and prayers are with the shooter. We are absolutely heartbroken and in shock over here," said one New York Times journalist. "What could have given us weeks and weeks of frothing at the mouth stories about gun control will now have to be suppressed since it does not align with our agenda." CNN, same incident. How do they cover it? Trump voter shoots mentally ill man in church. CNN reported on the event with the headline and caption, "Trump voter shot a mentally ill man in a Texas church," causing some to question whether CNN might be a biased source of news. "Once again, we see that Trump voters are hopelessly wicked," said one somber anchor as footage came in of a shooting in a Texas church. "There is nothing that they won't do to attack the oppressed, mentally ill community. All this man wanted to do was express his true identity and live out who he really is, and he was stopped by yet another psychotic Trump voter." CNN hosts called for Texas to designate their churches gun-free zones so that the mentally ill can do whatever they please without being stopped by deranged conservatives. Hillary Clinton asked to leave Costco after repeatedly accusing Sample Lady of being a Russian asset. The Sample Lady had apparently offered the failed presidential campaign candidate a small paper cup of orange juice and told her packs were on sale for $9.49 when the incident occurred. "Orange? Orange like Trump's?" Clinton screamed, suddenly frightening the poor food demonstration worker. "You're in league with him, aren't you?" The failed presidential candidate lunged across the cart and attempted to pull off her face mask, certain the lady was actually Vladimir Putin in a skin suit. Sauron builds wall to prevent one from simply walking into Mordor. In controversial episode, Curious George gets a little too curious and ends up watching Alex Jones videos for 5 days straight. In a controversial new episode of Curious George, the eponymous monkey gets a little too curious and ends up watching Alex Jones videos for 5 days straight. In the new show aired on PBS this past weekend, the man with the yellow hat walks in to find Curious George eating bananas and binge watching Alex Jones videos on YouTube, which isn't really even possible anymore, but whatever. From conspiracy theories about where Adolf Hitler really is today to a video about a monster energy plot to summon the apocalypse. No, George, bad George, he says as he finds the monkey watching a video about how Obama is turning bears gay with chemtrails from his private spacecraft. You crazy monkey, get back here. Curious George was immediately hailed as a hero of the alt-right. The show has been canceled, however, after the left declared him to be a Nazi. Democrats warn that radicalized airplanes may be planning another major attack. In a recent press conference, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senator Cory Booker, and other top Democrats expressed deep concern that airplanes might, of their own free will, launch another violent attack similar to the events of 9/11. Of course, this is their way of, like, they just kind of, like, circumvent the actual, like, talk about terrorists, and they always have to explain things in, like, in a total roundabout way because they're just too scared to actually say what it really is. Democrats introduced debate strategy of holding up a small child whenever their positions are challenged. Democrats are bringing a new tactic to the next presidential debate. Each candidate will arrive on the debate stage with a child to hold up whenever someone tries to question or challenge any of their statements they make. This is so true. Whether it's Greta Thunberg or the Parkland shooting kids, they always have to hide behind kids when they spout off their evil, stupid nonsense because they just can't bother to try to defend their stupid positions on their own merit. This cable TV debate format doesn't allow for long-winded answers and rebuttals. You got to make your point, and you need people to move on, said news anchor Anderson Cooper in support of the new debate technique. Why are you attacking this child? Are you some kind of monster? Hillary Clinton slams Trump for not taking a more hands-off approach to embassy attack. Hillary Clinton has slammed President Trump on Twitter for not taking a more hands-off approach to the protests in Iraq that threatened American lives at the embassy there. After Trump quickly sent Marines to defend Americans trapped at the embassy, Clinton immediately blasted him for taking such, quote, rash, uncalled for action when he could have just, quote, waited around a while to see what happens. If I were president, I definitely would have let things play out, she said. Sending American troops to protect American lives seems a little hasty. What if you need to get a little shut-eye or recharge in your lizard person spawning chamber for a few hours? I would have slept on it first. She later admitted her criticisms might not matter because what difference at this point does it make? Meanwhile, Americans under siege at the embassy took a few moments to thank God that Hillary Clinton is not their president of the United States. Alright, now this is the last one. I swear, this is the last one. Democrats called for flags to be flown at half-mast to grieve death of Soleimani. At a press conference held on Capitol Hill Friday morning, Democrat leaders called for flags to be flown half-mast to honor the death of Qasem Soleimani. Flags were spotted flying at half-mast around the country, notably at the Washington Post, the New York Times, and in front of several celebrities' homes. Celebrities went out and bought an American flag for the first time just to fly it at half-mast for this important time of grief. The grieving process is painful but necessary, said Representative Ilhan Omar. As a nation, we need to stop and grieve this great, austere, revered religious scholar. He was one of the good ones. In a rare moment of unity with the squad, Pelosi gave each of the girls a hug, telling them to just let it all out in their time of sadness. Ocasio-Cortez didn't seem to know what was happening, but adjusted her glasses to look smart. A teary-eyed Barack Obama was also seen solemnly lowering the flag in front of his seaside mansion. To think this all could have been prevented with a few pallets of cash. He sighed and stared off into the distance, a look of pain and regret on his face. If only Trump had targeted a U.S. citizen with a drone strike instead. Later, Democrats clarified they meant we should fly the Iranian flag at half-mast, not the offensive and problematic American flag. Oh gosh. Alright, I'm sure this is a very long video. I don't even know how long it's gone on so far. I really hope you enjoyed this, and you just go to babylonb.com and read it every day for the rest of your life, or else. Bye.